Hello everyone, welcome back again. My name is Jesse, and in this wonderful tutorial we're trying to build a very simple web application with a very nice package called Streamlit. Right, it's a very nice package. So what we're trying to build is that we're trying to build an EDA app, that is an exploratory data analysis app with the iris species. So let's see what this Streamlit app has to offer us. So first of all, we can just preview our data frame. With preview data frame, it's going to open it for us perfectly. I can check for the head. Let's give us the first 5 rows. I can also check for the tail, give us the last 5 rows. Very interesting and very simple, right? So that is for the preview aspect. In case I want to also show all the data frame at once, I can just go with show all data frame. It's going to load all of them, all the 150 data points for us in a very simple way. Perfect. So that is something interesting. In case I want to show the column names, I can also go with show all column names. So these are the various column names for our iris data sets, our species, petals, and then our sepals. We can also show for the dimensions. So to show for the dimensions, we can just show as a row, right? So show the what dimension do you want to show? The rows, which is 150, and then the columns, which is 5, as it was shown in the columns option here, right? Perfect. So that's what we're trying to build. Okay, so that's not all. In case I want to show a summary of the data set, I can just go with show summary of data set. Then it's going to print our count, our mean, standard deviation, and then all the various summaries for each and every of the columns. So since it's given us the columns, I can also select the particular column I want. So I can select the column here. Then I can choose, let's say, the species column, right? It's going to list it perfectly for us. So these are all the various species: Setosa, then Versicolor, and then Virginica. This is a very simple application that we'll be trying to build in this tutorial, right? So let's see some other stuff. So we can also plot plots, right? We can also see plots, such as simple bar plots. Perfect. So this is not a very nice plot, but at least it's better, right? So that means that you can even do normal matplotlib plots, like a bar plot. And I can also do another plot for, let's say, correlation. I want to see the correlation of our species among each other, as well as our features. So this is a simple matplotlib correlation plot. You can also do the one for seaborn, which is going to be very nicer and then more annotated than the matplotlib. So this is it, right? So this is another correlation plot with our annotation for the sepals as well as our petals, right, together to see the correlation. Very interesting, very simple. So that is not all. You can also do a simple bar plot for the various columns as well as the various species, which is quite interactive and very interesting, right? It's as informative. It's able to give us the particular information when you hover over it. You can even save the plot as SVG or as PNG, or even open it with Vega editor from VigaLite. Okay, so that is not only the only thing you can also do. In case you are trying to work with image, I want to see the particular kind of image I have, like maybe Virginica or Setosa, what it is, right? I can just click on Versicolor, then it's going to change automatically for us, which is very big. Can also do the same thing for Virginica, which is small, right? Perfect. So in case I want to manipulate this particular image or any image I have, I can just go to the show image option. Then it's going to give me the particular image that I have. So I have my Virginica, right, image here. Then I can change the contrast with this particular slider. Yeah, the contrast has changed, right? I can even make it more. That has totally changed perfectly, right? That's the basic idea. Can also increase the size of it. So that size has increased than the previous one. Perfect, right? So that is something very interesting we can also do. So to get information about the app, just go with the normal button of our about app. Then you see the various info. So there's a simple EDA app built with Streamlit. So it's a very good package and a very nice work that the Stream team has made. So let's see how to work with and then with Streamlit to build a simple app. So we have a tab that you can use to run and then collect cache. So let's move on and see how to build it. So to begin with it, you need to install Streamlit. So to install, just going to go with pip install Streamlit, right? So it's going to come as a package as well as a CLI. That is how to install it perfectly on your system. So I've already installed, so you just move on straight away. Perfect. So let's see what you'll be doing. So inside my particular app, so I'm going to going to my desktop, and then we start from here, right? So here we have nothing here. We have only our images, we have our CSV, and then our simple flower. So we're going to create a simple file, touch app.py. So that is the name of the app that we built, right? The name of the file. So we have our app.py here, which is this particular app, which is empty. So we're trying to build everything from scratch. So before then, let's see the various features that Streamlit has to offer us. So to start with, we're just going to go with import Streamlit as st, right? Perfect. So that is how to do that. That's all you require. So I can just do anything I want to do. So let's say I have something like a simple test I want to show, st, let's call it as title, and then let's say a test that I want to show. So how do we do that? Just go with st.title, then you pass in the particular title. So let's go to iris EDA app, right? Perfect. Something very simple. So how do we run this particular stuff? So to run, you're just going to go to your location where the file is itself, which is here. Then just going to run as Streamlit, right? So to see all the various features, you can just go with Streamlit. That's just help. It's going to list all the various stuff for us. Perfect. So we have how to work with it. So you can have the normal Streamlit hello, which is going to spin up a simple app for us, or you can just go with Streamlit run, then the name of your script that you want to run. So that is how to work with it. So let's start with it. So I'm just going to go with Streamlit run, then my app was called app.py. Perfect. So it's going to run, and then it's going to open a port for us that we are going to see what you are doing, right? So there's a port that's open, automatically going to open this particular port on your system using your default browser that is open here. So let's use Chrome. So let's use Chrome, right? I'm using Chrome. Perfect. So when I say that this thing that we typed there, the title is showing here, very, very simple, right? So that is all we need, right? So it is very, very simple. Just this little code is able to generate this particular stuff. And if you check the source code of this, you're going to see some interesting stuff. So if I go with view page source, you're going to see all this particular HTML stuff there, plenty stuff, very, very interesting, right? So it's a very simple package. Now let's see the other stuff you can do. So in case I want to add some text to it, I can just go with st.test, then I'll pass in the test. So built with Streamlit. Perfect. So that is it. So it's automatically going to run, detect the changes, and going to see it. So we can just go with the rerun, then it's going to rerun and then bring the changes. Very, very interesting, right? Cool. Now let's move on to some other stuff. So in case I want to work with headers, and then let's call that sub headers, right? These are just the big ones. So I want to bring a subheader. I'm just going to go with st.header, then I'll pass in the particular stuff I want to do. So let's call it as a EDA app, right? So it's going to print it perfectly for us. So we run or R, then it's going to automatically run. So EDA app. So that is for the header. In case I want to bring a subheader to, I can also do the same thing. Then make this one as subheader. So subheader. Then let's put in something simple. Iris dataset. So if I run it and I just click on R or rerun, it's going to automatically run for us. Perfect, right? So Iris dataset, very interesting and very simple. So that is the basic about it. Now let's see some other stuff you can also do. Perfect. So that is the basic idea about it, right? So now we know how to put in some tests, we know how to put in some headers. Now let's see how to work with some interesting stuff. So in case I want to put in a checkbox to show something, so let's go to checkbox to show something or to hide something. I just go with something like this. So if then st.checkbox, and I'll pass in whatever thing I want to do. So I'm going to pass in the name of the checkbox. Let's go to show data set, right? Then that is the basic idea. So that is all we need to do. Then it's just going to move on and place in whatever you want to do. So it's going to be something like st.test as we did earlier on, then showing data set, right? So if I go with this, it means that if the checkbox, if the check see how I spelled it, if the check box is set, right, or if there is a check box and if it is set, you bring me this particular stuff. That is the basic idea about it. So if I rerun it now, you see that it's showing data set. So if I click on this, it's going to showing data set, right? Very interesting. So that is how to do a check box with Streamlit. Very, very simple. So it can be used to do a lot of things. So that is not all. You can also do other things like radio buttons. So let's go to radio buttons. So a simple example of a radio button, like if I go with gender, right, and then I just put on something that I want to do, right? To put on something, so I go with gender. So let's see an example. So it's going to be something like gender. So you know that gender, you can just do something like st.radio. Then this radio is going to take in the particular stuff you want to do, right? So it's going to be as the question. So let's say, what is your gender? What is your gender? Something like that. Then the next option is going to be a tuple. So the tuple is going to be two stuff. It's going to be the first one, so let's say male. Then the next one is going to be female. Okay, so if I run it like this, now you're not going to see any stuff. So let's rerun it. You're going to see the result, right? So now it just automatically come. Very, very interesting. Let me expand this one. So that is how to add radio buttons. Very simple and very interesting. Very easy to do. So we have seen how to place in test. You have seen how to work with checkbox. You have seen how to put on radio buttons, right? So it's actually working. But in case I want to add functionality to it, I can just go with the if condition. So if gender is equal to my options that I have, right? If gender is equal to my options, so male, then I want you to do whatever. So st dot write or st dot test, you can make it any of them. Then put in something there. So let's say hello guy, right? So perfect. So if I go with here and I rerun it again, in case you don't want to be rerunning it, you can just go with the A option, right? So let's go with male, then it's automatically going to say hello guy, right? Just as we have done. So that's how to add functionality to the radio buttons. Perfect. Now let's move on from radio buttons to some interesting stuff. So in case I want to select something, to create a selection or a select box, so we can just go with the same format. So I can also give something like, let's call it as occupation. Occupation. I don't know whether it's correct. Occupation. That's for occupation, right? Then I can just go with st.select box. Then I'll pass in my question. So what's occupation? Just like the previous one, that is going to be the first option, right? That is the name of the question. Then you're just going to supply your tuple. So the tuple is going to take, let's say, programmer, data scientist, doctor, medical doctor, right? Something like that. So if I go straight away with this, so it's going to show me these things there. So we have it here. So let's rerun it. The reason I'm rerunning is I want to see how it is done, so that like now we have the occupation there, so I can just see the various options there. So programmer, data scientist, and then doctor, right? Very interesting. So it's a very, very simple but powerful package. Just with these things, we have all of these functions, all of these features at our disposal. So that is for the select option. So we have learned about radio buttons, And then let's see one last thing we can also do. Then you would go on to building our app itself, right? So the other one we can also do is that we can also display stuff. So we can also show sliders. It's going to be something like a simple slider in case you want to show a slider of an age group. So it can be age, then supply the particular age range. So it's called st.slider. Right, then I'll pass in so your age. Then I'll put in the two different limits. So mostly for the sliders, we have two different options. We have an upper limit and a lower limit. So the upper limit is going to be 1, right? And then the lower limit, that is going to be the lower limit rather. And then upper limit can be, let's say, 99, right? So if I save it, now we have our age slider. Very interesting. So let's run it. So see that from here you can have the R to run it, or you can just go with the A to always run, right? So that I don't need to be pressing it over and over. So now that it's showing the range here, so that is moving on very well. Very interesting and very simple, right? Very simple and very nice to do. So that's something about the sliders. Now the last thing that let's see how to work with our buttons. So this is going to be for buttons, ordinary buttons. So to just create a simple button, just go with st.button, then supply the name of the button. So let's say about me, right? Or about us. So perfect. So that is, see that it's showing the button there. Very interesting, right? So in case you want to add functionality to the button, just put in an if condition there, right? That you can just use an if condition, or you can make it like this. So if, right? Perfect. So that's something simple. So if button, then string dot test hello us. Something very simple. So that is something interesting. So if I go with about us, now it's going to show us hello s. So that's how to add or hook the button to a particular function or a particular activity you want to do. So that's the basic summary about all of these things. So we have learned about the basic stuff. Now let's see some interesting stuff you can also do. You can also check for, can also add images to it and add some stuff. But before then, let's check a very interesting feature. That is the write feature. The write feature allows us to do the same thing, can do test, can accept any stuff. So you can do something like st.write. Then you can also write whatever you have been doing. So hello world. And it's also going to do the same thing. It's going to automatically detect whatever thing that is applied there and work perfectly for us. So the write can be used to do most of the things there. It's a broad master feature that can be used to do a lot of things. You can also work on images. So let's work on images. In case I want to put in an image, I can just go with st.image. Then I'll open the particular image that I have there. So let's use something like something simple to open image. So I'll just go from pale, import image, using this one to open our image. So image dot open, then we supply os dot path dot join our iris. We have an iris data set, so iris dot setosa dot jpg, right? So let's import os. So import os. So let's save it. Okay, so now the image is showing very well. So you can even work with image in a very simple way. Just this code is able to bring an image, and also do the same thing for date. St dot date input. Then I'll supply the dates, right? So today's date. Then I can just go with the normal stuff there, right? Whatever stuff is there. So let's call date time dot date time dot now. So let's import date, import date time, right? So it's automatically going to run, going to give us errors. State perfect, right? It's supposed to be date input like this. So that's shown a particular date for today. Very interesting and very nice, right? Perfect. That is how to work with dates, right? Now let's move on and see some other stuff you can also do. You can also work with audio and then the video with the same option. So for the audio, it's just going to be st.audio. I do not have an audio. Then you apply the particular audio that you want, and then you can also do the same thing for videos. So st.video, then supply the video that you want as well as the format, right? So that is the basic idea about it, but I did not supply any of them. So that is how to work with light. It's a very nice package. So to put on title, just go with this. To put on headers, just go with this. To put on checkbox, very simple. To put on radio button, very simple, and there are several features that it supports. So let's see the next session of how to build our Iris EDA app. So thank you and stay blessed. So let's see how to build our Iris EDA app with all that you have learned so far. So I'll see this one and then we'll move on to the next session. So I'm going to say this one as dummy app, right, so that you can also have it later too as reference. So let's start with it. So we'll be starting. Perfect. So welcome back. So in this session, we're trying to build our EDA app with Iris dataset and as well as with our Streamlit, which is a very nice package. So let's see how to work with it. So we have our Streamlit, and we're going to import all the EDA packages that we need. So we need to import pandas as PD. Then you also need to import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. Then you also need to import Seaborn as SNS. Then you can also use PyForest, right, to help you with that. So these are the basic ones that we will use it for now. Then we need to import our OS as well as something different. Let's import image. So from Pale, import image. Right, for now, let's import only the image. So these are the basic stuff we'll be using for this particular app. So let's first of all define our app. So it's going to be our title. So the title for the app is going to be our st.title. Then Iris EDA app, right? Perfect. So it's going to automatically show here Iris EDA app. Now let's move on to the subheader. So iris.header, and let's put on the header as, let's say, built with Streamlit, a very nice package. It's going to give us the header here. Very interesting. Now we are done with this. Now let's move on to our data frame. Our data frame and our data set. So we're going to show our data frame. It's going to be st. In case we want to show our data frame, right? You can also work with that in a very simple way. Perfect. So now that is the basic idea. Now let's see how to work with it. So first of all, I'm just going to load our data set. So I'm going to call it as perfect. Now let's move on to the next aspect, right? So this is going to be our EDA itself. So I'll load my data set. I'm going to call it as my data test. Data set is equal to our iris.cv, right? Perfect. So that's the basic idea about it. Now let's create a function to load it. So this is going to be a function to load our data set, to load our data set. So I'm going to call it explore data. Then I'm going to pass in our data that we have. Then we are just going to move on to whatever we want to do. So we're using pandas, so df.pd.read underscore csv. Then you pass in our data set. So we're going to be os.path.join. You can omit this one and just go straight away with my data set. It's going to detect it. Perfect. Right, so that's the basic idea. Then we need to return our df so that we'll be using it over and over again. So that is quite nice, right? So how do we show this particular data set? How do we show it? So to show it, you can just move on straight away to with whatever you want to show, right? How to show this particular stuff. So instead of this being dataset, let's make it as dataset here. Then let's make this one as dataset. That is the right way of writing a function, right? Very simple. So how do we show whatever our dataset is? we can just go straight away with st dot checkbox. Can use a checkbox to do that. So let's go to if st dot checkbox then the name of the checkbox we give you as preview data set. Not to preview it, right? Then just go straight away to whatever I want to do. So to bring it out, can just go with data. It's called to explore data. Then you pass in my data set, the function there. Then I can just go with something very simple. So if st.button is equal to head, right? That is, I want only the head. Then I want you to st.right. That's where the right comes inside. My data dot head. So this right allows you to put every kind of Python function and it's going to work, right? So it's going to detect the changes. So we have our preview, our data set. If I click on it, so head, right? So if I click on the head, now we have our data set, right? See that it took some time for it to run. Perfect. So in case you don't want to be running and wasting a lot of time, there's a very nice feature called cache that allows you to be able to save your data, right, in a cache form, right, so that you can load it faster. So let's see how to do that. So it's going to be with put on top of your function. It's a macro. Oh, I said a macro. It's a decorator. Macro is for Julia. It's a decorator. It's going to be st.cache. That is the basic idea. And then you can just go with either persist is equal to true or without persist, right? Without persist, and it's also going to work perfectly for us. So this is going to automatically cache these data sets so that the next time you are reading it, it's very fast. It's not going to take time. Perfect, right? So that's the basic idea. So we have one for the head. Let's create another one for the tail, then another one for optional, right? So this is going to be if our button is head, fine. If it is tail, then give me the tail, right? So this is one way of doing it, but you can also make it like elif, then you bring this one as else. No need of this. Then just go to preview just only two. Perfect. So let's run it. That's automatically running. Now we have originally preview 2 as we defined here. Then I can just go with the tail. Perfect. That is very fast now. Then head. Perfect, right? So that is the basic idea about working with the checkbox. Now we know how to view or have a preview of our data set. Now let's move on to the next option of showing the entire data set. So to show the entire data set, you just go straight away with this show entire data. This is going to be if st.checkbox, then let's go to show all data set, then just go with the same stuff. So data explore, then my data set, then just go with if. We don't even need an if, you can just go straight away with st.right, then my data. So it's going to show the entire data set. Perfect. So that now it's showing here, so I can just go with show all data set. See that now it's showing all of them. All the data sets. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. All of them is being shown here, right, at a go. You can also see that you can even go apply this and down like that. So that's how to work with it. So you realize that if you can observe, you realize this is a tautology, right? So we can make it simple by placing these ones outside here, right, as global. Then instead of doing this over and over again, we just go straight away without this. So let me comment this one out, then everything is going to still work as expected. So that now it is still working, right? So that we define it once, but we use it throughout all our function. So preview head, it's working perfectly, right? So that is a cleaner code than the previous one. Okay, so now let's move on to the next option. So we know how to show all the data set. Now let's move on to how to show the columns, right? Or the column, the column name. So it's going to be show column name. Then the next thing we do also is we show our summary. Then before that, we're also going to show our dimensions. So we have these three things that we have to do. So let's show the column names. So you can just do the same thing that we had here. I'll copy this one because it's the same thing. Then this is going to be show column names. So instead of this, you can just go with dot columns, right? Just like we do in normal pandas format. So let's see how it's going to be. So if I go with column names, that perfect, showing all the different columns there. Very simple, very interesting, because you automatically define this, is seeing that one and using that one to work for us. So there's also another thing that we can also do. We were using right here, right? So here we can also do another thing. We can also do st.data frame instead of the right, and then go with data. This is global, not just global, but it's a master function that allows you to do a lot of things, the right one. But the data frame is going to restrict it to only data frames, so it's also going to work perfectly for us. So if I go back here, see that it's still working, right? Just like the previous one, because it's identifying this one as a data frame, and therefore we can be able to read it, right? But in case you don't want that one, you just go with this particular option. That is the basic idea about it. Now let's move on. We know have our columns. Let's check for our dimensions. So show our dimensions, or instead of making it show our dimensions, let's go to what dimensions do you want to see, right? What dimension do you want to see? That is one way of doing it. Now we can also make this one as a radio button, right? You can make it as a radio button. Remember we had a radio button there, so we can do that one also. So let's hide these ones. Right, instead of making this one like this, we can also make it as a radio button instead of this. So it's going to be quite simple. So I'm just going to define it as my dimension. So let's go data dim, right? Then I'll supply st.radio. Then just going to add the same particular question. What dimensions do I want to see? Then I'll pass in my tuple for the next option. So it's going to be our columns, our rows first, then our columns, right? And then let's add another one for all, right, to show everything. Perfect. So in that case, so we're going to take off this, going to use a normal one. So if our data dimension is equal to rows, then go with st.test showing rows, then st.right, then pass in our data dot shape, then the first one, right? So that is the basic idea for that. So let's try it and see. So it's automatically shown there. Now I can just go with the rows and showing the number of rows there. Very interesting. I can also duplicate this because it's tautology. Repetition. Then the last one. So this is going to be for our rows, and this is going to be for our columns. Right, so we have one for our columns, and the column is going to be the next one. If I go with this, now you see that it's showing our columns. Very interesting. And then last one is going to be for all of them. So else our st.test bracket showing shape of dataset. It's going to be st.write then data.shape. Right, so that is the basic idea. So now if I go with all, it's showing shape of dataset, right? You can just use this particular option. So this, or this, right? So that's the basic idea about it. Very interesting. So we can make it like this, but let's try and then beautify our code. So else if, and then perfect. So by default it's automatically to be all. Then I want to see the columns. I can see the columns here. I want to see the rows. I can see the rows here. That's the basic idea of what I've built so far. Now let's move on to the next option. So we have to be very fast now. So now let's see how to show a summary. So to show the entire summary, it's going to be st. I just do the same thing that we did, like here. Right, show summary of datasets. Then you can just come to this place and then use the normal describe to show the summary, right? So it's also going to show the summary. So I can just come here, click on it. If it's to start showing the summary for each and every of the columns, their count, their mean, their standard deviation, and so forth. So that is the basic idea. Now let's work on selecting of a column. So select a column. Don't know why I'm typing slow. It's going to be, for the selection, we can use several formats, right, to do our selection. So you can just go with iris or call option, right? Then we just use st.select box, right? There's also multi-select also, which you can also use. So we call it a select column. Perfect. So that's the basic idea. Now after that, you're just going to supply the various tuple of all the options that you want it to be. So it's going to be a simple tuple. So we have our sepal length, petal length. Let me expand it. Sepal width. Right, and let me copy this stuff because it's the same thing. Perfect. Right, so we have one for petal, one for sepal. So it's going to be for petal. Perfect. So let's save it. Perfect. See that now it's automatically showing the different selection options. So we have our sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width. Perfect. So that's how to get the options. Very, very simple. Right, now we can actually add some features to it, which is going to be if our column option is equal to whatever you want to do is equal to our sepal length, sepal width, do a particular stuff. So st.write data, then pick the sepal width. Right, perfect. So this thing can be repeated for all of them. So let me repeat for all of them. So we have one for the sepal width, we have one for the length, yeah. So I can just repeat this things here instead of right. So we have one for sepals and another one for petals. right? So the moment you select is going to actually bring it out. So let's try it and see. Now we have our petal length, everything is showing as expected. Very interesting. I can just go with another one for petal length and showing that. Let's add one which we forgot, which is a species, right? Species is another part of the column. So species, save, then come back here, then let's add it here. So it's going to be if column option is equal to species, then st.write our data, then our species column, right? So that is how to do that. So this is a very bad way of doing an if else condition. So it's going to be this elif. Perfect. So this is nice code. Then the next one is going to be else st.write select column, select column, right? Perfect. So now everything is working well. So now I can just come back to here. There's species. Perfect. So it's showing all the various species there: Versicolor, Setosa, Virginica. Perfect. So that is the basic idea about the selecting option. So let's see what we have done so far. So let's see how nice our app is now. So we have our preview stuff, our dimensions, our summary, and then our selection of the columns. So the next thing we need to add is our images. Let's see how to add some images to it. So we'll be working with not just images, I mean plots, right? So we're adding plots to it. So to add plot is very simple with the plots. So we just use the simple stuff. So if checkbox, using the checkbox to do the plot. So let's work with our plot. So the plot is very, very simple. So we're using the same stuff we have been doing here, something like this, to bring in our plots. So be showing to show normal plots. Let's see bar plot with matplotlib. Now how do we do that? So there are several ways we can bring out a plot, right? So the simplest way of bringing out a plot perfect. So now let's try and see how to bring a plot. So I'm just going to change this one, then go with our normal pandas format of plotting. So I can just go with plot like this, then the kind is equal to bar. But if you do it like this, right, it's not going to still show it, right? It's going to give us some error message, not an error, but it's going to tell us about ESC plus something. That is still not showing this particular plot, right? So the reason it's not showing that it is seeing this plot as totally different from the matplotlib. It's seeing this plot from coming from pandas, not from matplotlib. So it's for you to see any plot that is not part of the original package, right? Like matplotlib, like Otter, or like Vega, you just have to use the st.plot, st.py plot. So the st.py plot is going to plot any kind of plot which is not part of the package, so far as I know now. So let's save it now. If you save it now, if you run, it's going to actually plot this one. So now it's showing the plot. Very interesting, right? So that is the basic idea. So let's try the same that we have here on the normal way of plotting for something different. So let's do another plot for, let's say, correlation. So this is going to be for correlation. correlation plot. So in a normal correlation plot, you can just use the matplotlib stuff to do that, which is going to be this option of plt, right? Just like in matplotlib dot mat show, then you pass in our correlation dot coor. So this, so showing bar plots of correlation, or let's call it as correlation plots with matplotlib. This is how to do matplotlib. So automatically it's giving us an error, and this is how it shows an error if it finds an error, right? So that is how it shows an error. The reason it's showing us an error is that there's an invalid syntax, so we did not close it well. So we have to close it with the back end. Perfect. So now it's working. If I come back here and show the correlation plot, if I see that now, we have seen our plot here, right? So this is a correlation plot from this particular option, right? Perfect. This is one way of doing it, but you can also omit this right out from it, and it's still going to work perfectly because of the last command here, right? It's still going to work. If I save it, then let's try it and see. You are still going to see the same result. So whilst it's loading, let's try another plot. So we're trying a new plot, which is going to be for our seaborne plot. See what I did. It's going to be for our seaborne plot. So we're using seaborne to do our correlation plot, so that it has come as we expected, right? Without the other one. So we can also do for the seaborne correlation plot with seaborne. So seaborne is not supported. So since it's not supported, you can just go straight away and then use the simple format of st.write, the normal function. Then just go with sns.heat map, and you pass in our data.core. Perfect. So if I leave it like this without the last matplotlib, it's not going to come. You're not going to see that particular plot because the seaborne is not yet supported. It's not part of the, it's supported, it works, but it's not part of, by default, it's not part of the plotting packages such as matplotlib, Otter, Vega, Plotly, Bokeh, then DQ, some advanced plot. It's not part of it, so you are not going to see it. So let's go this one off to save speed. So if I check this one here, now it's not going to show that plot. It's going to only show the subplot as a subplot without printing the particular plot. So for it to show this seaborne plot, which is not part of the original stuff, then you just have to go with the st.pyplot. So it's going to use the pyplot to be able to plot that seaborne plot above. Okay, so that night has come without any issue. So that is the basic idea. So in case you have any plotting package that is not yet part of the default, you can just use this option to plot it. Now let's move on to the next stuff, which is going to be working on images, right? Or let's not just work on that, but let's do the last one for the group counts. So, or just the normal group. It's going to be like this. Let me copy this one because it's the same thing. Right, so we will be using pyplot, but there are other parts and other forms of plot you can also do. So not just only the normal pyplot, you can also do a normal bar plot or bar chart rather, bar chart plots, not with seaborne but by default, right? So in doing so, you can just go straight away. Let's take off this and let's start. So it's going to be something very simple. We have our data, so let's call that v count, v group, then it's going to be our data dot group by, we are grouping by species. Perfect, right? Without supplying any stuff. Then in case I want to plot this, I can just go straight away with our st.bar chart. So bar chart is another plot that it applies or comes with it. So v group. Perfect, and that is showing. So if I click on this, go to show the bar chart plot. It's a very nice plot. So loading, perfect. So now it is showing a very simple bar plot, and you can save it as SVG, PNG, can open with Vega Lite, then showing all this animation stuff there. Let me expand it so you see it well. Showing all this animation stuff here, this kind of tool tip stuff, right? Very interesting. So that is some cool stuff you can do. Now that is for a simple bar plot. You can also add, let's say, area plot, and then line plot. So let's try that one. So this is going to be a simple for line plot. This is a normal bar plot. You can also do line plot. Line plot, which is not going to be nice anyway, but let's try it and see. So it's going to be, we know we're using this. Let's go to straight with our line charts. Then you can pass in our data, right? So it's going to be our line chart, and also do another one for, so that it's showing here. If I come back here, this is a very bad plot, right? That is the line, right? So it's not just only pie plot, but we have bar chart, we have line chart, then there are also other ones like area chart too, which you can also do. So area chart. So let's call this one as area chart. I hope it works. So let's try that one. See how the area chart is. So very interesting and very interesting. It's the area chart. Very interesting stuff. So that's the basic concept about the plot. So we know how to do the plot. Now let's move on to do some interesting stuff. So we're trying to work on our images. So how do we work with images? As we learned previously, you can just define a function called load image. Then we're passing in the image that you want to load, and then you can just go with im. It's go to our image. We are using pillow to open our image. Then it's going to use os.path.join.our image that you want, right? Then the next thing we need is to try and work on return that particular image, to return our image. Perfect. So that's the basic idea. So let's bring the decorator to cache it. So at st.cache, and this one I'm not going to put in persist. You can just leave it like that. So we have an image one. Now the next we can do is that we can define the particular species that we want to do. So let's go with our species, then species type. I want to show the various species. So st.radio, then select, select species type, right? Then you put in your tuple there. So the tuple is going to be our iris or Setosa, Virginica, and the last one is going to be our, let's say, color. Perfect. So it's going to be automatically going to show those stuff there also. So now it's that these are the species there. Now in case we want to show the images, you can just use a normal if condition. So if our species type is equal to, let's say, Setosa, then I want you to load our image. So let's st.test, the long time we use test. Then let's load our image. So showing Setosa species, right? Then st.test image, then going to load the image. So load our image, which is going to be go inside our image folder / iris setosa.jpg. so this iris setosa, let me expand it here. If you go to our images folder, we have our images here. We have iris setosa, right? So that is the particular stuff. So images, and then this must be inside a string. Perfect. So if I come back here, see that now it is automatically showing the iris setosa species as an image. So I can just duplicate this, then move on to Virginica versicolor. So this, if, right, the next one is going to be another if. So we have these various ones there, right? So one for the setosa, versicolor, showing versicolor, and this is going to be for our Virginica. Perfect. So everything is working well. So you can just select Virginica. I'm going to change it here. Showing Virginica, versicolor is going to change it as expected, right? Perfect. So we are done with our image. Now let's try and see how we can bring contrast. How can we bring contrast and enhancement features to it? So that is going to be another stuff we can do. So you can put that one inside something. So let's call this. So show image and enhance. It's going to be if our st.check box is equal to, let's call that show or hide image. That's the button we will bring in. Then I'm going to load in my image, which is going to be our load image. Then this time we're going to pass in something different. Iris dot setosa dot jpg. Perfect. So that's the basic idea. Now we can just go with enhance, then we use image enhance from, and then contrast from pillow, right? So we'll pass in our image there. So let's import image enhance from the top. So that's going to give us an error. So we have our image enhance, and then we also have image filter, right? So these are the basic stuff we have there. So we can just set a number of the kind of contrast you want to do. So with this slider, then it's going to be set image contrast, then this will take in the upper limit and then the lower limit as it was. So the upper limit is going to be 1.0, and this must also always be in the same data type, right? So if it's float, if it's integers. Then our lower limit we have set. Now we go to our upper limit 0, right? Perfect. That is going to be the next one. Then we can also create one for the image. So let's call the image width. So st.slider. Then let's set image width. This is going to be value. So let's call this 300 to 500, right? Then we are done with our sliders. So to work on it, just go to st.image, then going to pass in our enhance, our image.enhance, then we pass in our number for the contrast, then our width, is equal to our image width. Perfect. That's the basic idea about it. So let's see how it's going to work. Perfect. So we have our image, the big one. Now if I go to show image, so it's showing the image, it's showing the contrast. If I just click on it, it's going to change the contrast. That's perfect. Let's change the contrast from how it is. Can even send it to the furthest point. Perfect, right? I can also increase the image, the size of the image with this. This is another image that's increased. So that's the basic idea about it. So you have been able to build a simple app. So let's conclude with an about, right? Because the about is quite simple. So you can just go if st.button is equal to about app. If you click on that, I want you to st.write something, or subheader or something, but let's use test. So iris EDA app, then we just use the same thing, st.test built with Streamlit. It's a very nice package. They have done well. So kudos to the st.test. How do you say kudos? I don't know how to say that. Kudos to the Streamlit team. They have done a very good job. So that is a very nice stuff. So we have our iris stuff there, our about. So if I click on the about now, iris EDA built with Streamlit. Kudos to the Streamlit team. So that's the basic idea about how to build an EDA app with Streamlit. Very, very nice package. So in summary, the basic thing that you need is that just your normal Python stuff. All you need is just this stuff. Import Streamlit as st, then you pass everything around this st, right? So for titles and header, just go with st.title or header. For functions, and if you want to persist your data in your functions and to save and to improve your speed, just use st cache, then persist in case you want to persist the data. Then you also have one for our checkbox, one for buttons. Then you have the almighty st, right, for any kind of Python function or any kind of stuff, whether text, whether functions or plots. Then you also have data frame. You also have tables also. Then you can also work with radio buttons. Very interesting. Then finally, you can also work on plots, right, with st.plots for any kind of plots that is not supported by default, like Otter, Bokeh, Plotly, Matplotlib. It's going to help you plot. Even this is T-bone, right? It's still able to plot. Then I also have line plot, bar plot, area plot, and several of them. You can also work on images and then on videos. So thank you for watching this tutorial. So in case you have any question or contribution, you can just put it inside the comment section below, and then check the links below and the website for some interesting books, some interesting updates. Thank you and stay blessed.